Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Young and Restless fans had a hunch that there was more to the twist in Diane's story than met the eye. And they were correct. It's clear that the devious Diane is colluding with someone. But who? Keep reading. When Jack and Diane began having epic and very public spats, Young and Restless fans quickly began to wonder if they were putting it all on for show. For whose benefit? Why, Victor's, of course. Lulling the mustache into a false sense of security by having him believe his plan to ruin Jack's life was working might throw him off of his game. Moreover, Diane and Jack could divide and conquer, so to speak, with one working on getting Kyle back into the fold as the other dealt with the Black Knight. But developments after the fact threw that theory into question somewhat. Diane was fired from Jabot and moved out of the Abbott Manse. Pretty extreme measures for a ruse. Diane and Kyle have battled publicly, and her plot to get him fired from Glissade was exposed by Victor in his latest maneuver, which very obviously threw Diane for a loop. Going back to her suite at the club, Diane made a cryptic phone call to someone unknown and told them, "We have a problem," and that things were not turning out the way they planned. It could have been Jack she was speaking to, but there are other, more shocking, possibilities. It all comes down to what Diane's true agenda is. If she's working with Jack to beat Victor at his own game and reunite their family, that's one thing. However, if Diane is truly, as even Tracy believes, out for herself and wants Glissade, then she can be working with the only other person in town who has the same goal. Asterisk drumroll, please asterisk. Audra Charles. This would be shocking given that Diane has historically had nothing but utter contempt for her son's former bed partner. But no one wants Kyle fired more than the ousted ex-CEO, which is exactly what Diane asked Victor to do. Audra has also told Nate she's bent and determined to fight to get back what's hers. But Audra is not the only possibility. Unfortunately for Diane and her mystery partner, Victor turned the tables on her by exposing her to Kyle. This was clearly not in the plan. Diane obviously didn't intend for Kyle to know that she was behind his would-be firing, which suggests that either A, she is colluding with Jack, or B, it presented an unforeseen setback in a plan to take over Glissade. If Diane had been able to convince Victor to hand over the reins of the cosmetics company to hurt Jack, he'd have had no more use for it. Meaning another investor could swoop in and join Diane. Who do we know with that kind of money and that kind of interest in Glissade? Why, none other than gone but never forgotten Tucker McCall. That's who. Diane and Tucker worked together in the past in Los Angeles, and it was he who helped spring her back from the dead return on the Abbotts. With his son Devin getting married next week, it would be a timely return for the beleaguered businessman and father. He may even be the big shock that will rock Dabby's wedding, as his unscheduled arrival would certainly stir the pot. What with Ashley back and the bride hating his guts? The Young and the Restless has long been known for its unpredictable twists and complex web of relationships. At the center of many of these intrigues over the years has been Diane Jenkins, a character whose motivations are often as murky as the tides of Genoa City itself. As one of the most polarizing figures on the show, Diane has spent time both as a villain and a victim, constantly finding herself embroiled in drama and suspense. But one question that has been at the forefront of viewers' minds recently is, who is Diane calling or working with? Her sudden return to Genoa City after being presumed dead for years raises more questions than answers. Diane has made it clear that she's here to rebuild her life, but the circumstances surrounding her reappearance suggest that she might have more on her mind than a simple reconciliation with her estranged family and former lovers. The answer could lie in the mysterious individuals Diane is calling or meeting in secret. Let's delve into the possibilities surrounding who might be pulling the strings behind Diane's actions, and what these secret alliances mean for the future of the Young and the Restless. Jack Abbott, Diane's former lover, has always had a complicated relationship with her. While he may have forgiven her for the past betrayals, such as her affair with his brother, his painful abandonment, and even faking her own death, there's still a sense that their history holds unresolved tension. Diane's sudden return to Genoa City comes on the heels of Jack trying to move on from his past. He's been more focused on his family and his business, but Diane's presence complicates everything. While Jack may be offering her the olive branch for the sake of their son, Kyle Abbott, there's a lingering sense that Diane is working on something beyond just mending her relationship with him. It's possible she's trying to manipulate Jack back into her orbit, either for emotional support, business advantage, or even for a larger, more covert purpose. Could Diane be contacting or working with people close to Jack, using her access to him to pull strings behind the scenes? Her history of scheming could mean she's not just looking to reunite, but to gain leverage in ways that Jack may not yet fully comprehend. Whether it's through a shared business venture, a romantic entanglement, or a more underhanded scheme, Diane's intentions remain unclear. Another major figure in Genoa City who could be on Diane's radar is none other than Victor Newman, the infamous mustache of the young and the restless. Victor has always been someone who operates in the shadows, and his ability to make deals with all kinds of people is legendary. Diane's return from the dead puts her right back into Victor's sphere of influence. Diane has crossed paths with Victor before, and their interactions have been far from friendly. However, that doesn't mean they couldn't be working together now. If Diane is involved in any covert operation or scheme, whether related to business, revenge, or something else entirely, it wouldn't be surprising if she was contacting Victor behind closed doors. Victor, known for his sharp intellect and sometimes questionable moral compass, might see an opportunity in aligning with Diane, especially if it means furthering his own agenda. In fact, Diane's fragile position within the Abbott family might provide Victor with an angle to destabilize Jack's control over his company or gain an upper hand in other dealings. It's equally possible that Diane, realizing she may need more than just Jack's forgiveness, is turning to Victor for protection, guidance, or resources. With Victor's resources and willingness to engage in morally gray activities, Diane may have found a powerful ally in him. Phyllis Summers has always been a force to be reckoned with in Genoa City, and her history with Diane Jenkins is fraught with rivalry, manipulation, and explosive confrontations. Diane's return could be a perfect opportunity for Phyllis to seize control of a situation that's always been emotionally charged. However, in recent years, Phyllis has become more of an anti-heroine, someone who operates with a degree of pragmatism and cunning that mirrors Diane's. It's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that Diane and Phyllis might put aside their history of animosity and form an alliance for mutual benefit. Whether it's business, revenge, or just the thrill of scheming, Phyllis and Diane both share a deep desire to remain relevant and powerful in Genoa City. If Diane is in contact with Phyllis, it could be to gain an advantage in her personal vendetta against the Abbott family or to challenge the Newmans. Phyllis, ever the opportunist, could see Diane's return as a chance to expand her own reach, or maybe she senses that Diane has something bigger in play. Could they be working together for a common goal, at least temporarily? The stakes would certainly be high for both of them. The most emotional and perhaps the most personal relationship that Diane is trying to navigate is her relationship with her son, Kyle Abbott. After years of being absent from his life, Diane's reemergence is understandably a complicated issue for Kyle. He's torn between his loyalty to his father, Jack, and his desire to understand the woman who gave him life. Kyle, a thoughtful and emotional character, has made it clear that he wants to build a relationship with his mother. But he's also cautious. He knows Diane has a history of manipulation and deception, and he doesn't want to be drawn into any dangerous games. However, Diane's reappearance might not be entirely about Kyle. She might be using him as a pawn in a larger game, or perhaps Kyle could be unwittingly involved in her plans. If Diane is working behind the scenes with any of the other characters mentioned, it's likely that Kyle will be the one caught in the crossfire. He may not know it yet, but his emotional vulnerability makes him a perfect target for manipulation, especially as he tries to balance his relationship with his father and his newly reformed, or not so reformed, mother. One of the most intriguing possibilities surrounding Diane's secretive actions is the potential involvement of a mysterious figure from her past. Diane is a woman with a long history of bad decisions, some of which may have left enemies, allies, and anyone in between with deep grudges or motivations that we don't yet understand. Could there be someone from Diane's past who has resurfaced to aid, or even manipulate, her? A business associate, former lover, or criminal contact from her past may have reappeared to reignite old alliances or demand a favor. It could be someone she owes money to, someone she wronged, or even someone who has a shared history with her that we don't know about yet. As Diane remains tight-lipped about many of her interactions, it's possible that this mysterious caller is a key piece in her plans. At the heart of the young and the restless portrayal of Diane Jenkins is the question of trust. Diane has always been a character who operates in the gray areas, often blurring the line between good and bad. Whether she is working with Jack, Victor, Phyllis, or someone else entirely, her true intentions remain shrouded in mystery. The idea of secret phone calls, covert meetings, and clandestine partnerships adds layers of intrigue to her character, and it's this unpredictability that keeps audiences guessing. As Diane continues to weave her way through the lives of Genoa City's elite, viewers will likely find that her alliances are as fluid and unpredictable as her own moral compass. Whether she is working toward redemption or orchestrating yet another elaborate scheme, one thing is certain: Diane Jenkins is always one step ahead, at least for now.